CHRAJ and the CHRAJ boss. And let me read a bit for you, pick it from myjoyonline.com. It says a member of the Special Budget Committee of Parliament is pushing for fresh investigations into allegations of abuse of office leveled against the CHRAJ boss Loretta Lamptey. According to Frank Anodompre, the committee has information that suggests the head of Ghana's Human Rights Commission has failed to account for $50,000 advanced to her in 2013 by the African Commission on Human and People's Rights for the organization of a number of human rights programs. I mean, we've been talking about the fact that she's living in a hotel paying $400 a night, and her official bungalow is still under renovations. The Works and Housing Ministry has come out to say they are not responsible for that. Now we're hearing of some monies that was advanced in 2013, and we don't seem to find exactly what we did with that.
Well, it is most unfortunate that the office of the Commissioner for Human Rights is attracting such commentary by this time. You know, it is one of those offices that is supposed to give hope to the hopeless, if I should say so. The former commissioner stated that when he was leaving, the house official residence was virtually in good shape. Now the lady came, wanted so many things done. The job has been ongoing. A lot of money has been spent getting the house ready for her, and she's still staying in the hotel. I think it is temporary accommodation was good for her, which was already very expensive. Then she goes into a very expensive hotel, and one would have thought.
But if you listen to her, I think the very first time that she spoke, she's trying to cut down costs, because what she is in now supposedly is less expensive than where she was at the AU Village.
Do the math for me, please, if you will.
No,
400. Okay, don't.
This is $400. So okay, these are the figures that come with the report on my Joy Online.
For 30 days,
she spent $148,000 on rent for 33 months. She has spent $180,000 on the renovation, but she's paying $400 a night in the hotel.
Yes, $400 a night in a hotel is $12,000 a month. It's $12,000 a month. How does that work out cheaper to anything else? And mind you, the hotel room rate is not the only cost she's going to incur while she's staying in that hotel.
Yeah, but any other thing that you do, that will be your own personal cost.
No.
What do you know?
Well, I'm talking about how these things go. It will not just be the room rate. That is how it goes. You see, they'll work out and take other things out, but it will not just be the room rate. So, like I'm saying, simple arithmetic. $400 and it's over $400 too, not just 400. It's 400 plus.
Really?
Yes.
What we know
I
is
can't
400.
remember. Well, okay. For purposes of this argument, let's just stick to 400. 400 times 30 is 12,000. So 12,000 does not work out cheaper than 5,500 a month. It doesn't. So that argument for me doesn't wash. And even for anything at all, after the initial brouhaha that it came up, I think the first thing she or anybody else in her position would have done, for purposes of image, personal, corporate, etc., image, would have been to move out of that hotel into some other more, nobody's saying she shouldn't be accommodated. The issue is the cost. So she could have moved into something else, at least as a response.
But what if, because we're told that her position is like that of an appeals court judge.
Correct.
And their rent is $350. So what if she's paying the difference herself?
$350.
Okay, because this is $350 a month.
Thank you very much.
So I mean, still, what if she's paying all that difference herself?
Well, that is a logical argument. But it's logical arguments like this that takes cases to human rights court. Somebody is doing something. His company says, why are you doing this? We fired you. You are supposed to be using 2 gallons of fuel. You are using 22 gallons of fuel. We fired you. Then the person goes to human rights court. It's my human right to do this. Then the human rights court itself is behaving like this, the commissioner herself. So it's a moral issue. With logical argument, you can virtually explain any situation away. But there is an issue to be answered here. There's a certain prolificate expenditure that has gone on in the Human Rights Commission that is unimaginable at a time when simple budgetary allocations for certain essential services were not available. That is the other matter. There are cases in Eastern Region, Kufridwa, they don't have money to conduct the investigation because they cannot move around. Simple transportation they don't have. And yet, $50,000 cannot be accounted for. And when I say $50,000, I'm talking $50,000. And then look at the kind of money that is being spent on rent.
How about the issue of, you remember the petition, because some people petitioned the president.
That's
We're
right.
told they had been forwarded to the CHRAJ's office. Now
right.
we're told she hasn't responded.
I heard on, I think, one of your radio networks, one of the petitioners say that although he hadn't got a response, official response, it was because the investigation for the official response had to be given to him was not complete. But he had been officially communicated to that they had received the petition.
Yes.
They were working on it. So that in itself suggests that although, yes, maybe what he's expecting hasn't so far happened, the office has notified him that they are working on it and in due time.
Yeah, but whilst they're working on it, one would have expected that they would move her at least out of that hotel and put her in one of those houses that we have. Don't we have a lot of houses that nobody is living in?
Precisely, madam. That is exactly the point I'm making. Even if somebody hadn't moved her, she herself.
But if she has nowhere to go.
Oh.
Because remember she said she was living with her mom, but her mom had to travel.
Okay, I accept that.
And she hasn't lived here. She hasn't worked here. So she says she has no property.
Nobody is saying she should be out in the street. The information is that she has children. Who on earth will want to see a lady of that standing thrown out in the street? I will not stand for it. But at the same time, if the accommodation has been given to her, it's accommodation that is way in excess of reasonable expectation. And we are all unhappy about it. Like you're saying, and like everybody in Ghana is saying, she should move into some more reasonable accommodation. And it is not like looking for a needle in a haystack. The same way she found that hotel where she is, she could easily find another hotel which is more reasonable in price.
Who should be making her move? Who should be leading this?
Leadership. That is the issue. Leadership. Yes, the Commission for Human Rights has a certain autonomy. So nobody can, quote unquote, push them around. But there should be pressure, leadership pressure put on her to do what she has to do. You know? Pressure must be put on her to, otherwise she can, from what is we are gathering, then she can more or less decide that, well, I'm not going. I'm going to stay here and be
But
here.
do you think it's her own doing? I mean, do you think she's resisting?
Bottom line, it falls on her. Bottom line, you know. In I don't know, yesterday's newspaper or the day before, she told a journalist that yes, she was preparing a response to the charges against her, and she was still in the process of preparing it, and that it would be ready by last week. But as at I think Monday or so, it still hadn't gone. So that tells you her own way of responding to the situation, which is not helping at all.